Deem
There we go.
Spencer, Jamaica Queen's Own, joins me here for Sports and Hip Hop with DJ Mad Max tonight, live 365 iHeartRadio. One of the illest artists in the game, especially he's been doing his thing for years now, and I can't wait to talk about his upcoming EP. He's got the new song Pony out right now, available on all platforms. Welcome to the show. How's everything going, Deem?
Thanks a lot, man. Everything's cool right now. I'm excited for everybody to hear this EP.
It's so crazy because there's such a range of topics that I want to talk with you about. But you have a performance this coming week too, Roberta's. So how are you looking forward to that? How have you been there before?
Um, it's a pizza shop, of like a famous pizza shop in Brooklyn. So I've been there for the pizza. I'm excited to perform it. It'll be the first time I do some of the songs from the EP. It's also the day after my birthday.
Oh wow,
So,
happy early birthday.
thanks, man. So yeah, I'm looking forward to, seeing all my people.
How do you put in perspective now? Because when I look at it, especially for my career, I'm always like another year past to where I may not have reached the level that I want to get to yet. But how do you look at it as another year passes by and you're still in this industry when we live in the in time now where everything's instant gratification and people get blown up right away, especially when you're talented? Because I always say it right now that the talented people have to kind of take a backseat right now in the era that we're in because the talented people don't win right away like they used to in the 90s and the early 2000s. So how do you put it in perspective when you grow each year now that you have an upcoming birthday as to where you're at in your career right now?
That's a really good question. Uh, it's hard to it's hard as an artist to stay encouraged when you see the just fast pace that everything's changing. And like when my music first got popular, like it was still like the blog era. And yeah, nowadays like um just yeah, things move a lot faster. And yeah, my perspective on it shifts, but I know in my heart that like we just I don't know, we all start as fans. So I don't know. I feel like we us artists don't like we shouldn't get lost in the game of getting famous. Like, you know.
I agree. Yeah, because that's what people focus on now, the fame before actually doing things for the love and then eventually getting fame off of what you love doing. It's now the cloud chasing era that we live in. I think something that really spoke to you long ago was me hearing about your meeting with ASAP Yams because he told you that it was 20% talent and 80% hustle. So when you look back on that time, how do you kind of have a moment of reflection as to where you stand? It's kind of just connected to my last question a little bit, but how do you feel about what else you need to do to keep pushing? Do you feel as though you need to release more music? What's an area that you feel as though that you could really pop to where you want to be at in the future?
Um that's a great question too. Yams was absolutely right. As I learned, like yeah, it's more it's a lot about just your hustle and just how you're able to make your work translate. Um just the it's just the talent level of everybody's work is all subjective. So like everybody is the best to somebody, but like it's your ability to get it to the people that feel that way that matters the most. And right now in my like second part of your question, I've been focusing a lot on screenwriting over the last couple of years, and right now I'm taking the steps to develop a television series. And
Congrats.
thanks, man. And yeah, I'm excited about it, and it's like consuming me the way that like my first mixtapes did. And I feel like yeah, just seeing how my commitment before like changed my life. Like I have the utmost confidence in this new project. So the yeah, so I'm excited to like venture into film and television.
Oh, is there anything they give as far as details about the new show that you're working on, or do you want to keep that under wraps until you get it more developed?
Um, I can say that it's, it's about my real life as an artist, and it just, yeah, it just highlights the, yeah, I guess I could leave it there,
Yeah.
conversation, but, yeah, I'm excited to start, like, rolling stuff out and just, like, introducing people to the world that I'm building.
Mhm. And are you working with a good friend named Mike on this? Because I know Mike is, I heard, one of your closest friends. So are you working with him on? He's the one that went off to college for film, and
Yeah,
he was always interested in doing that. And you were actually in acting school. I did read that online, and then I heard that things hit the basement. Is that true that you were in acting school at one point?
no, I wasn't in acting school, but, yeah, I went to middle school with my boy Mike. He ended up going to college for film. I wasn't in acting school, but I was in a high school. I was in a writing high school, and
Mm,
my high school they specialize in writing, and then they had like this improv troupe that would come to the school and teach improv as like a extracurricular, and I was a part of that program, and I even did stand up comedy when I was like 17, 18. And I didn't go to an acting school, but next week I actually start an acting class.
oh wow.
Yeah, so I'm about to be an acting student.
That's big. Congrats on that. You got a lot on the way that you're focusing on here, and that's great that you're putting yourself in the different avenues in this industry. And how was the recording process? Because we got the upcoming EP, All Those Crying Birds, right now coming out in a few days. How was the recording process with your good friend Spencer? Did you work with him on this as well?
Yeah, I did work with Spencer. It's funny how the EP came together. I worked on this with my friend Jackson. He's been a mutual friend for years, and we like met a few times over the years. And like a friend of mine, Chief Justice, he would always be like, "Hey, Jackson got some beats for you, man." And last year, Jackson he hit me up. He wanted a verse on something he was working on, and I linked him, and we ended up making just we ended up locking in for the whole summer and making like um when we counted, it was at 70 demos, and this was like July of last year, and
Wow.
we made 70 demos from May to July, and just locked in with him. He lives like Upper West Side in New York, and
Mhm.
yeah, it was dope because like at the point that we were making these, I had just put out my last album, Adult Swim, and I I was in a place where I was like very discouraged.
Mm.
So just I felt called to just like really have fun with it and just talk about what I'm actually going through and just like make light of it because that's like one of my strengths. Um so yeah, I just did that all summer and just like tried to not think about my career and just like make songs. And yeah.
Yeah.
So that's how these songs came about. And then at the end of last year, decided I wanted to just like start throwing stuff out and just I met with the label and told them the plan. And yeah, I picked a handful of songs that we're about to hear on Friday.
Yeah. And one of them that we've heard already is Pony. So what was the idea behind this? Were you just listening to Genuine? Because I know you mentioned the reference on the song, but that's a classic song for you. So were you just listening to this and you kind of put your own little spin on it?
Now with Pony, yeah, like all the songs on the EP are like um, I'm talking about just my situations over the last few years and just like stuff that have been like heavy on my mind and just I just Pony is like a real attitude record. Like just, I felt like talking my shit. Yeah. Yeah. Like as soon as I like started writing that, I knew, all right, this is gonna be one of my favorites. And I think a lot of people's favorites. Like, yeah, I'm so happy that that song is out. And yeah, that's one of my favorite ones.
Yeah, no, it's making noise. I was looking at online just the comments and the feedback that you're getting off of it. But something that is interesting is the title for the new EP, All These Crying Birds. So get into the meaning behind the title for the upcoming project.
um, well, these birds be crying, and I just wanted to dedicate something to them. And yeah, yeah, just being, I don't know, it felt like very like storybook, that title, All These Crying Birds. I think that's such a great title, and yeah, it sums up the source of inspiration for the EP.
Yeah. Something that I like about you is just you always sticking to who you are as a person and not following what everyone else follows in the industry, and you have developing your own sound. And I think it was interesting to hear how you were, like you mentioned earlier, you were discouraged at a time because you didn't know if you put out a record that anyone would really care, but you have your own fan base and people do care. And I think it's the people that get caught up in the whole likes, and if they're not getting enough likes and they're not getting enough attention, not getting enough validation, those are the people that aren't really in it for what they really love. And you can tell that you are really in it for you as an artist because you keep going. The people that don't keep going are only in it for the clout. And I think that speaks to why you have artists that are hot 1 second and then they're gone in the next day or the next year. And that's something that you just keep going. And those are the real winners and talented people.
Thanks, Max. Yeah, that means a lot, man. I can't completely say that I don't want the recognition, because like that is a big source of my frustration.
Yes, you need it. Yeah,
Yeah, and like I feel like I deserve it, and like I
absolutely.
there's a lot of like very talented artists that also feel like they deserve it, and yeah, like the reason I don't stop is because I am like, I don't know, this doing this really does something for me, just like spiritually, and just it helps me to make music, and it just does wonders for my like self um self-esteem, and just like just like it helps me, and I believe in the catalog that I already have out. But like, yeah, I keep going because I know one day it's gonna work. It only makes sense that it does. But yeah, I wish that didn't matter sometimes.
Yeah,
Yeah, I
I
really
agree.
wish it didn't matter, and I could just that's the next album that I'm working on right now. I'm working on it with Spencer, and I told him that we we have to completely abandon just like our desire to just, you know, just pop. Like, I want to see what we will really make, just like being ourselves, because that's important to me right now, to just like discover myself in a new way. A lot of my music coming up, it was based on like just my younger self and like my child self, and just me unpacking like my understanding of who I am. But just I'm an adult now, and I'm like an adult, and I would like to discover who that is, but you know, on record. And I don't know, I think that's such a beautiful thing. And yeah, that's where I'm trying to go now. And yeah, All These Crying Birds, that's some like cute bops for, to get the momentum going back up.
Yeah. And it's
Yeah.
being released on your own indie label, Drink Some WTR. Are you gonna, is there potentially in the future to where you're gonna want to do a partnership? Because we speak about the recognition and you deserve to get that great success. Are you gonna be looking for a partnership in the future, or are you just sticking to what you're doing now with just the running the indie label on your own?
Um, well, Drink Some Water is a partnership with that label is actually started by my guy Nigel, and it's a
Mm,
joint venture with Secretly, and they've been very supportive. And yeah, that's just, if the business makes sense, like I will not get in my own way. But yeah, for now, I'm trying my best not to worry about that.
Yeah. Yeah, just stay focused on you, and then eventually whatever happens will happens because you're putting all your energy towards it, and whatever happens, it's gonna happen because it's for a reason. And I'm telling you, man, you keep working hard, you keep releasing the music, and you release what's true to yourself. You're gonna get all the glory. I did want to get into some of your influences because I know Eminem's a big influence. He was someone that inspired you since you were a kid, and then when you got older, Kendrick Lamar came out. You were able to relate to Kendrick Lamar. What did you? How do you feel about Eminem's new song Houdini? Did you get a chance to listen to it?
No, I haven't heard Houdini yet. I heard pieces of it, but yeah, I haven't gotten into it yet. Um, yeah, older M is a different M.
Yeah,
How
him
you
cleaning out my closet.
how you feel about the new M?
I'm not satisfied with it. I haven't been an Eminem fan since Recovery. I think just I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's his voice. I don't know what it is that it's just he hasn't been the same in so many years. Houdini, I wasn't. I listened to it and I'm just like, why are we still on the cartoon raps? Because I get that you want to grow as an artist overall, and Eminem did grow, but then it's like, why are we going backwards now to Without Me and the cartoon raps? Like I get it, that's his style. He innovated that, but it's just when you're over 50 years old, I don't want to see you in tights with a Robin mask on. You know what I mean? And that's the relatable fact. It's tough to relate to him, especially when you come from a difficult community. When you come from a urban place, you can't relate to that. It's tough. His rhymes you can be inspired by, and that's when Kendrick Lamar came in because you were able to relate to someone that actually came from that lifestyle.
Mm. And like even M's lifestyle, like I imagine it was rough coming from where he was coming from. And just I related to, or maybe not related to, but I was drawn to just him being so candid about what he was going through and just the technical, uh, just the level he was going with it. But he also was like such a great storyteller, and his character was unmatched. Like
Yeah.
even when he wasn't being like zany, like one of my favorite Eminem songs is "If I Had" from some
Well, the
Shady.
first album,
Yeah, and
If I Had $1 Million, yeah,
yeah,
that song, yeah.
he wasn't talking crazy on there, but he was like saying some real shit. And yeah, yeah, as he got older, like I just all right.
Yeah.
Yeah, like a lot of rappers, they get to a level where, and this is why Kendrick, I think, is the greatest of all time. Like a lot of rappers, when they reach success, they start rapping about their new struggles, and they're no longer speaking for like the people who haven't transcended their first struggle.
Yeah, that's
um,
real.
and Kendrick with To Pimp a Butterfly, like he was able to talk about becoming a famous rapper in a way that like spoke to me because like that album came out a couple years before like I was in the industry for real, but right before like shit started moving for me, like I really locked in with To Pimp a Butterfly, and I realized because the people were always talking about how like this is such like a black album and this is super black, and it is, but it's more about how this young man became super famous, and it highlighted how traumatized he is. And I related to that. Like I related to, damn, if I get famous right now, I might fuck it all up. Like that's what like he came in the album saying that. And I think a lot of people may have missed that, but like yeah, it was like a he was being candid about how like becoming that guy affected his life. And yeah, it really clicked to me at like the perfect time for me. And
Mm.
yeah, so back to M. Yeah, I feel like yeah, that's where the disconnect came. Just when he started talking about just like nonsense. Yeah,
Yeah, no, it's tough listening to his newer work and his newer songs because it's not the old Eminem that I grew up off of. And when you get older, you kind of look at it, it's kind of for kids. It's in a lot of kids movies, the Without Me, the Real Slim Shady. It's kind of on the kid side of things, but it's his own style, like you said, one of the greatest to do it without a doubt, greatest lyricist, one of the greatest storytellers, and it's going to be interesting to see what he does with the upcoming album. Hopefully, it's not all like Houdini because I do want to see his growth as an artist, just like how it was on Recovery. He grew. I want to see that again. And
Recovery, my last M album.
yeah,
Yeah.
I think that is for a lot of people too.
I gave Marshall Mathers 2 a spin.
Yeah.
I gave that a spin. It had that terrible Kendrick song.
Yeah.
No,
Yeah, I remember that.
yeah, like
Crazy. But you're working on a lot here. And besides, you got the upcoming EP release, and you mentioned the TV series. What else are you kind of working on behind the scenes? You kind of got some merch going on. What are some other ventures you're into?
right now I'm locked in and just like getting this television joint made. Yeah, I'm studying acting starting next week. Um, I'm getting into boxing. That's just like personal shit. But what else am I working on? Oh yeah, I have like a modeling career that I'm like I plan on honing in on.
Oh, congrats on that too. Or do you have like a model and agent that you're going through right now, or you're still in the process of that, or are you kind of just going on the independent route with modeling?
Yeah, funny enough, like nah, I don't have an agent, but over the last few years, like I was able to develop like relationships with like the creative at like Marnie and Telfar, and
Mm,
yeah, I'm grateful to have worked with them, and yeah, I look forward to more work with them, and like yeah, I have a bunch of ideas, and like I look forward to uh you know executing.
yeah. I wanted to take it back to this quote that I read online where you said that you don't have to be going through shit to make music. Do you feel as though that quote still stands?
Yeah, that's not true.
Yeah.
That's not true. I mean, I make shit anyway. Like I
Yeah.
make music when I'm going through shit, when I'm not going through anything. But it when I'm going through shit, like I really, really like make music.
Yeah.
Like I'm really like there's like sometimes like there's nothing else I can do. Yeah,
Therapy.
for real. Because like like the studio isn't like no like attractive place. Like no one just wants to be in the studio. But like sometimes I'm at a point like emotionally where I'm like, all right, if I crank something out, I'll be one step closer to being out of this. Like I still like sometimes I just fall on the faith that this shit is gonna work out. So just do another one.
How did Adult Swim prepare you and set you up for everything they're releasing into the future? I mean, we talked about the upcoming EP, all these crying birds, but because it really showed the vulnerable side of you, even though you've always been yourself and you've always talked about yourself. But with Adult Swim, you took it to a different level. So how did it prepare you for all these crying birds and all the future releases now that people really know who you are?
That's a good question.
Thank you.
I think with Adult Swim, that was the first time. Adult Swim was like my let me count projects like Sunflower, We Think We Alone, Pretty Face, Deem's Tape, Adult Swim. Adult Swim was my eighth project, like ever. And just like publicly, like out right now, that's like my fourth or fifth project available right now. And it was the first one that I like collaboration was like the center of that. Like I was working with people and I was listening to everybody around me. Like every project before that, like um yeah, I trusted myself and I followed my own instinct and I worked on a lot of it by myself. But with Adult Swim, I didn't really work on any of it by myself. Like there's a few songs that I produced and wrote at home, but for the most part, like a lot of that album, I was like working with other people and just like talking through stuff. And that process taught me that is so important to like making good music. Um, and another thing I gained from Adult Swim is I that was the first project that I actually produced on. Like I put out singles before that I produced, but this was the first album that I like contributed on the actual music, and I learned how important that is just and just building my sound. So yeah, it taught me to be more hands on and to be more selfless, and I think that's going to take me a long way moving forward.
Believe it will. I think that was a major stepping stone for you as an artist and people getting to know you and your fan base, really being able to understand you as a person and just follow your career. And I did want to speak on this because you're from Queens. How do you feel about the borough of Queens right now, its current state when we talk about hip hop? Because back in the day, we always look at it LL Cool J, Mobb Deep, Nas. We look at all the greats that have come out of there. What are your thoughts on just how, like, the boroughs of New York right now? Do you even think boroughs even matter in hip hop anymore? How do you feel about that and just the current state of Queens hip hop?
Um, that's a good question. I think Queens is such an important part of New York culture.
Mm.
Um, I think just Queens just like it's there's a very balanced sort of damn, I don't even know I want to articulate this, but yeah, right now one of the hottest artists in the game is from Queens, Cash Cobain.
Mhm.
Um, yeah, we like Queens is always gonna like give us somebody that's like doing something cool that very much represents New York and it's very accessible. And I want to do my part and just really breaking through. And you can never tell me that I won't. But yeah, I think Queens is always gonna be Queens. Like
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah. You want to transcend that 100% and just keep that same attitude too, to where you just want to get the break. You keep going, keep working at what you're doing and being true to yourself. Because a lot of people, like I said, they're lost in themselves and they follow trends and they get caught up in that. And that's where they get lost and where they might unfortunately have a fall off. And you don't want to see that, but that's what happens nowadays because we live in the trendy era. And it's good to know that you're your own wave and you're not following anyone else.
yeah.
But Deem Spencer, is there anything else you'd love to let your fans know? Anything else that we didn't talk about here today?
Um, just look out for more events. Please see me live if you if I'm in your city. If you're in my city, please come see me live and run up the All These Crying Birds EP.
Releasing June 14th. Make sure you stay on that release date. Everyone listening out there, all his fans, make sure you go download it, support it once it releases. Go purchase and stream right now. You can get Pony off of the new project and just stay tuned to his Instagram. Let them know where they can follow you on Instagram and X and all those platforms so they can tap in with you.
And you can follow me everywhere at Deem Spencer. Um, yeah, everywhere. I mean, there might be a few places where somebody grabbed that name before me,
Mm,
but yeah, I'm Deem Spencer on Instagram and Twitter,
make sure you
X,
follow him.
and YouTube. Um, yeah,
You already
thank,
know. Deem, I
thanks.
want to thank you for coming on the show. It was a great
Oh,
time speaking with you, and shout out to Sean and everyone at Cosign for getting us connected, man. Keep doing your thing. I look forward to hearing the release of the new EP.
appreciate it, man.
You already know. Enjoy the rest of your night, all right?
All right, take it easy.
You too, man. Peace out.